Hello, 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 amazing people. Welcome to the Friday Night Mic Drop here at the Ryan Files. I've got a wired Finn in the house with me tonight, so we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. I just want to say hello. A couple people are out there. Julie cannot attend tonight because of graduation. A lot of graduations going on. Have fun with all that. So no worries, Julie. Margaret, hello. Lola, hello. And Faye Smith, how you doing? And Julie, good to have you. Thank you guys for joining, and I'm sure others will come along. We've got not a real long night tonight, but an exciting night. So been working hard, and the truth of the matter is I need to work a little bit harder, kind of get ahead here on some things. A couple of my Hey Sheila, how you doing? A couple of my recent episodes have been, in my opinion, just phenomenal. But just dealing with that suppression and suppression of freedom of speech, you might say, with the YouTube brand and their community content policy stuff. So here's like the basic, here's the basic thing. All right. YouTube has, let's go back even further. Freedom of speech. Okay. We got to talk about freedom of speech all the time. Freedom of speech, freedom of speech. That is a constitutional thing where we're going to have freedom of speech with our government. Our government can't tell us what we can and can't say. That's a good thing. But a private corporation like YouTube, despite the fact that they're using what I consider a public utility called the internet, they don't have to abide by those rules. So they create these things called community guidelines, which, it's like, this is what we see. We see community guidelines. Sounds awesome. They're guidelines for their community because they care more than you. So the community guidelines basically put you in a box, and you can't say certain things on their platform that, you might be able to that's not offensive. It's just offensive to them. And or they don't believe that people have the ability to make decisions. A lot of what I'm talking about in some of these episodes coming up, or items that are being discussed, is not stuff that I necessarily believe in. I just don't know. So I like to just have a discussion about it. Does that make sense? Like, the way the spirit realm works, or the second heaven, or other dimensions. I don't know. And nobody does really. I would guess, really know how it all works, but we can talk about it, right? But there are some viewpoints on certain things that are just made out to be fact, even though they're not. And we've seen this. We've seen this time and time and time and time and time again over the past, all of our lives actually, but especially over the past 5-10 years. Fact checkers, that are biased about the facts they're checking. I say it all the time, man. You can literally find any facts out there to support whatever you want, but they hold all the power. They hold all the power because it's their platform. Is that right? I don't think it is. Are you going to be able to ever effectively change it? I don't think so. I think it would take a monumental shift in society in order for that to happen. And here's why. Google's a good platform in terms of just, YouTube it's not clunky. It works. A lot of people on and whatnot. So that's awesome. All the bugs worked out. Monetization and whatnot of videos, albeit maybe not that much, but it's in place. but their community standards and policies are such that it really causes some crazy issues. This past week, I thought for sure, I was like, okay, we're not talking about anything a spiritual realm or we don't have Johnny Cerrucci on or anything crazy. We're just talking about Nikola Tesla. It's going to be awesome. And I said, this is a good chance to promote the channel. And that's kind of what the game plan was. Promote the channel, get some more subscriptions and all that stuff. And what ended up happening was that I tried to run a Google ad for that episode, and it got shut down because I mentioned John Trump. Not the one that's currently in a house that's white. John Trump, the uncle of that person, back in the 1930s, 40s, whatever it was, who, MIT guy wanted to try to supply power to nuclear power plants with Van de Graaff generators. Long story short, was with the FBI team that came in and took away Nikola Tesla's documents out of his room after he had passed away at the New Yorker Hotel. All right. I mentioned that. And I got flagged for United States election disinformation. That's a problem. Had nothing to do with any of that. You watched the episode, you know what I'm talking about. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I think it's two sides of the same coin. But that's ridiculous to be shut down. So basically, they say it's community guidelines, but really it's suppression of speech and ideas. And every time it happens, you're like, well, obviously I must be close to a target that, is really upsetting these people. This company that's owned by Alphabet, owned by BlackRock, interestingly enough. Want to get into that? Let's see here. Who do we got on here? Brenda, how you doing? I'm doing great. Margaret, thank you. Sheila. Yeah, she is in a mood tonight. How you doing, Michael? Yeah, she's something special today. So it makes it really hard to talk about ideas, and just have that open conversation where you don't have to believe. That's the thing. I don't ever come on here and be like, you got to believe this. There might be some things like maybe we're talking about something like Jesus Christ and the gospel. Yeah. You know what? I might be like, yeah, this is what I believe. But at the same time, I'm still not beating you over the head, and combating you or shutting you down. And that's what they're doing. And it's like, wow, that's a very arrogant set of controls you got going on there. And, it's ironic that they do this. A perfect example is Johnny Cerrucci comes on a few weeks back. And, Johnny has his platform and his belief system, and it's about Jesuits and whatnot. You talk about that stuff, and YouTube will say, hey, you can't talk about that. We're going to shadow ban you. We're going to limit engagement, all that stuff. Because you're talking bad about religion. And we can't have that on our platform. Okay, great. I understand it. But it doesn't work both ways, because as a Christian, if I want to talk about something that might be a reality in, let's just say in Revelation in modern day times, like for example, you've all heard recently in the news Planet 9, and that goes back to Planet X, that goes back to Nibiru, that goes back to Nemesis, all the stuff that is historical stuff that comes all the way back from the Sumerian tablets, the Anunnaki, all that stuff. Well, a lot of people think that that might be wormwood in Revelation. They think that maybe this is a cycle thing, and we saw the plagues in the Exodus, and how those plagues are similar to what happens in Revelation, and how it's going to be the same celestial thing, which is this planet X, whatever planet Nemesis is, the black or the brown dwarf star, allegedly that's a tandem star with the sun. Anyways, long story short, if I want to talk about that in terms of potential, I don't know that I even believe it. I don't know. But if I want to discuss it in terms of potential religious viewpoints, they will shut that down. YouTube will shut that down. So is that not kind of like stepping on my ability to talk about religious beliefs? Right? I'm not asking anyone to believe it, and I'm not saying everything that is being talked to by the expert on is fact. And I understand, I even go so far as to say, listen, I'm going to abide by your community rules because, they're there. I do wish that we could just be, allow things to be said and treat people like adults. You're not smarter or a better human being than I am just because you put limitations on speech. In fact, you're really hurting humanity by doing that. And we'll see it. We'll see it plain as day. Tonight, this episode will not have as many views, likes, and watches. Last week's episode with Tesla, because I said John Trump, not the current person that's living in the house that is white. No, because I said John Trump all the way back to the early 1900s. Because of that episode has far, far less views than others. Doesn't make any sense. And so, yeah. And when I get told that, hey, we're going to flag you on this, I fight back. And that's what I did. I fought back. And guess what? They said, you know what? You're right. We're not going to ban you for that. You were talking about something else. Even though it said United States election disinformation. And obviously I wasn't talking about that. So they said, nope, hey, you're free to go. No problem. 24 hours later, I get we're going to need to re-document everything on your ad, whatever it is, ad verification. So all the documents I had to send in, which, my driver's license, passport, business details, articles of incorporation, all that stuff, none of which has changed. Click to be able to just, I'm not hiding anything. I'm not hiding anything at all. Yeah, I'll submit that. I actually have them all in a folder anyways. From the first time I sent them, I'm happy to resend them again. It's the exact same documents. Yeah, no problem. But they won't give you a link. They won't give you a link that works. They'll tell you how to do it, but there's no link to actually click to upload the documents. It's unbelievable. So even though I wanted to run an ad, because I challenged them, was right, they'll still not let me run the ad because now it's another hoop that I have to jump through. This is the world that we're living in. And that's why you should not be surprised whenever you see things in the news that are not said. Don't think that because things are not said is like because they're not true or it's not out there. No, it's being censored. in multiple ways. And you can try to do everything, but there are people and corporations and whatnot that have a lot of power. My biggest problem is the only people that can change this are elected officials. I don't even know that you could get a grassroots movement. I guess you could get, and I doubt you could even do it. I guess you could get 1 billion people to cancel their YouTube accounts. I don't even know if that would work. And what would it do? Because there's one side of this equation that is really being elevated. Everything that side wants to say is amplified. And if you want to just talk about things that aren't this, then if it's over here, then so. Yeah, it's a bizarre thing, and it's a dividing force. It's a dividing factor. It doesn't have to be there. And I have a great problem with some of the stuff that's said over here. I don't agree with it. At times it's offensive, but I'm also an adult, and I'm like, I can handle it. You know what I mean? I just don't know why we can't handle this. It's kind of crazy. So anyways, what I'm running into is, a little bit of suppression and whatnot, which means everybody who's out there watching, thank you. All my audio is going in and out. Imagine that. This is all real. It's all real. But think about it. And we got some exciting guests coming up. Let me talk to you about them real quick. Everybody knows Joe Rogan, right? Joe Rogan podcast. I had the ability to connect with a guy named Christopher Dunn, Chris Dunn, who will be coming on the Ryan Files and was on Joe Rogan's podcast not that awful long ago. And he will be coming on the Ryan Files down the road. That's exciting. It's a big deal. He's going to be coming on. We're going to talk about some of the discoveries in the ancient pyramids over at Giza. So that's awesome. That's huge, actually. I don't know if anyone saw the first short advertisement for this week's upcoming episode with Daniel Duval. He's talking about super soldiers and all that stuff. Man, check it out on my YouTube channel. Check it out on my Facebook. Also on my X account. I drop 3 to 4 of them a week. Kind of just little short advertisements about what's coming. And yeah, it's awesome. Daniel Duval is coming up this week on ETA file or the Ryan Files on Tuesday night. Week after that, we're going to have a gentleman that I am kind of talking about through all this. His name is Marshall Masters. One of the leading people talking about not Planet 9, but Planet X, Nibiru, aka which Nibiru is a planet around Nemesis, which is a brown dwarf star, which is according to him. So yeah, all that's going on. The week after that, Vicky Joy, I got to have her on, Vicky Joy Anderson. I was going to put her the following week after Daniel Duval, but I didn't want it to be too similar. But yeah, we've got some amazing guests booked. I've got tomorrow I'm going to be talking to a gentleman named Walter. We're going to be talking about technology, secret technology from World War II, German World War II secret technology that was developed during the World War II and what happened after it. We've got Dr. Aaron Judkins is going to be returning to the Ryan Files, and we're talking about dinosaurs, which is awesome. A real cool perspective on dinosaurs that you're not going to see, in a Hollywood movie like Jurassic Park. As cool as those are to watch and whatnot, well, this is a little bit different. Let's see. We've got I got some other interviews coming up. Hold on. Sorry. Chris Dunn, obviously. There's some folks that, two people, co-authors of a book I'm trying to have on that we're going to talk about Jesse James and alleged Civil War kind of era Illuminati / Templar treasure being hid, just all kinds of really cool stuff, historical stuff. And that all happened kind of in this area, the Ozarks. The Old West, they're going to talk about that. Having them on. A gentleman from Scotland named Scott who is going to come on. And once again, we're going to be talking about pyramids in Giza. So there's so much going on. There's so much really positive stuff going on. I just don't know why we've got to, why it needs to be shut down, shadow banned, hidden. And you can see it. It's kind of disappointing, but I believe that I believe that whatever suppression is going on is not as powerful as the God I serve. So, because I think it is a spiritual battle. That's all I got to say about that. So, yeah, that's it. ETA files. It was fun having Gary Wesley on. Very cool. We've got some others coming up. Next week will be E-Rock. And I think after that, the week after that, at some point, we're going to have Craig Parker on from Texas. And then I hope to have Charles Stone on. There's a couple other people I want to have on too that are not Elvis guys, but are in the Elvis world. Just like back in the day, we would have had DJ Fontana on. DJ, of course, is no longer with us, but it would have been awesome to have DJ Fontana on ETA Files to talk about Elvis. He knew him. He worked with him, all that stuff. So, and I also want to get on Cynthia Pepper, who performed with Elvis in the movies, acted with Elvis in the movies. And also, I want to talk to Jackie Franklin. Doc Franklin is the guy who did the Images of Elvis, Images of the King contest, which was a preliminary kind of, it was the thing that happened prior to the Ultimate happening. And I won that back in 2000. And, but they did it for years. So it'd be really cool to have her on and talk about that as well. There's a couple ETAs I'm trying to get a hold of. And just as always, it's more, there's a reason why I have fewer ETAs lined up than I do, scientists and best-selling authors and people that have been on the Joe Rogan show of millions of views. Just saying. But anyways, that's about it, man. I've got a ton. We talked for an hour and 40 minutes, and I'm hoping to have an hour episode, So it is what it is. But there are great things going on. I'm going to have some new stuff on theryanfiles.com. You can always go there and get all the information and new stuff. Got some merchandise and some other things. Yeah, go over to theryanfiles.com. And of course, Patreon. My Patreon over there at the patreon.com/theryanfiles. Interesting stuff you can always find over there as well. So, yeah, interesting stuff. So, yeah, that's it. I'm going to have a little dinner tonight. I'm going to have just kind of a relaxed night. I've got some editing to do, and that's it. Get ready for tomorrow. Exciting conversation with another new face And I can't wait, man. We're going to be talking about everything from World War II Nazis that escaped to South America to Giza, the pyramids of Giza, to so many things. And I know everyone says their audio is going in and out, and I believe you. And there's nothing different going on. So don't think that's a coincidence, though. I promise you. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. You might see on my Facebook a ad if anyone's interested in My Patriot Supply. 60% off. I can give you a code for that. It's a great time. It's a great time just to get started. We talk about it a little bit just to get started, but I think that's about it. You guys are awesome, and have a great Memorial Day weekend, and just be amazing. Sorry, there's a couple people out here I didn't see tonight, but it was nice to see Deneen. It was nice to see Margaret. I didn't see Heather. Heather's out there. Miss you. But you guys just have an amazing weekend. Be awesome, and love you guys. And we'll talk. We'll talk soon. All right. So stay amazing. Cheers.